I don't think the vast majority of American citizens understand what it is that their federal government is supposed to be doing. Let me read off the actual authorities granted and enumerated to Congress and therefore the federal government under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. This is going to blow your mind. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duty, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. Yeah, the federal government can collect taxes, but when it says general welfare, it doesn't mean that the federal government can do whatever they want. It means they can do whatever they want within the enumerated powers that they've been granted to them, provided that it's in the general welfare. So what else can they do? They can borrow money on the credit of the United States, and they've sure done a lot of that. They can regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. They can establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. They can coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standards of weights and measurements. They can provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. They can establish post offices and post roads. They can promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to the respective writings and discoveries. This is things like trademarks, copyrights, and patents. They can constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, which means Congress can establish federal courts under the Supreme Court. They can define and punish practices and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations. They can declare war. Gosh, wouldn't that be nice if Congress actually declared war before they sent troops? They can grant letters of marque and reprisal and make rules concerning captures on land and water. They can raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. They can provide and maintain a navy. They can make rules for government and regulation of land and naval forces. They can provide for the calling forth of the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. By the way, Congress, have you seen the southern border? Just checking. They can provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. And they can exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may be part of. They can pretty much govern Washington, D.C. how they want. That's what all that means. And finally, they can make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department thereof, which, by the way, doesn't mean they can do whatever they consider to be necessary and proper. It means they can do whatever is necessary and proper based off of executing the enumerated powers the Constitution is giving them. So why do I read all this for you? Well, because I have a very important question to ask. Did you see anything about a Department of Education? How about managing individual retirement plans for senior citizens? Did you see anything in there about managing your health care? How about printing trillions of dollars to subsidize government spending? Anything specific about subsidizing government's favorite businesses? Anything about redistributing over $1 trillion a year from people who earned it to people who didn't? Anything in there about letting millions of people into the country illegally every year and getting free taxpayer-supported benefits from education to medical care? The answer is no, you didn't. Because it's not in there. And not putting it in there was not an oversight by the founders. It was very intentional, I promise you.